I gradually became aware that I was awake again. Sadly, I enjoyed those fleeting moments of unconscious sleep where the minutes and hours seemed to slowly drift away and then pick up speed again until you're redlining in the 5th gear and then bang, awake again. Who knows how much later? 15 minutes or 10 hours? Time used to be relative. What I really liked about sleeping was that if I was lucky, I could dream. My mind could weave a beautiful tapestry where I wasn't bound by the laws of physics. I could run and jump, socialize with others, and even eat food again. I miss food a lot. When I was stuck being what I call awake physically, I could do nothing. I don't mean that I had nothing to do, but that I couldn't move a muscle. I wasn't paralyzed. Even a quadriplegic could blink and move their eyes around. At least they can breathe and have a heartbeat. Not that looking around would have done much for me. I'd been in the darkness for longer than I could fathom, or maybe not. I had no way of telling time. I wore a watch, but it didn't glow in the dark. No backlit digital screen for me. I vaguely remember that at one point I thought that I could hear the soft ticks of the watch as the hands made their rounds. I don't get those soft ticks any longer. That is one thing that I would change if I could go back. I would change lots of things if I could go back. But if anything, I would have worn a digital watch that displayed the time and day of each week. If I could find one that just showed the month too, I would drain every penny in my checking account and take out a bank loan if I could have it now. Ideally, I would change other things first. I would have worn a helmet when I got onto my motorcycle. I would have looked both ways before I pulled out in front of the oil truck. I would have also maybe gotten one of those blood donor cards for my wallet. And the paramedics would have known what blood type I was. So yeah, mistakes were made that day. But if I couldn't change the outcome, I would have worn a different watch. I don't really recall much after the impact. I remember the fire truck, some paramedics, but then it gets fuzzy. I do clearly remember that the medic was yelling at the doctor that I was a motorcyclist with no helmet involved in a side impact collision with a very large vehicle. Side impact to my butt. When the oil truck T-bones a bike in a 55, the truck runs your butt over. The doctor just shook his head and mumbled that us bikers were just organ donors anyways. I probably would have been one too if my insides weren't all gelatin at that point. There was a funeral. Somehow it was an open casket funeral, and I got to see those who came and those who didn't, those who cried and those who just looked at me and shook their head. As much as I tried, I couldn't move. I couldn't blink. All I could do was just be there with some vague consciousness that I was there and what was around me. Sadly, those were the good times. Things only got worse from there. My casket was closed and I never saw light again. I heard the thud of dirt as they covered my casket, and then I was completely alone with nothing but the soft rhythmic clicking of my wristwatch to keep me company. Just me, my thoughts, and my wristwatch. I don't know how long I've been down here in this hole, but I really wish that I had worn a different watch.